I'll set the context. As you guys are already aware of, this group was created to cater to cyclists among the FFDNs. When I say cyclists, those who want to pursue, those who are already cycling regularly, and those who are doing well, it is their athletic identity, have been pros or experts or whatever you want to call them. And the idea kind of was born when we all cyclists met Veer, and many in the group felt that it's a nice way of coming together for all FFDNs in Bangalore, and we should do it. Some of us were regular cyclists, others were not. So there is an exchange program that will help each other. So there's motivation for me to help someone and vice versa. And also we learn as a group new things, and we also set ourselves for better goals. There is motivation, there is group energy. I've had experience of bringing people together in a couple of groups, all private, informal. I have a 20 plus member apartment gang that does cycling. I used to live in Gurgaon, where I had a bunch of friends and colleagues, 10 of us. So I know the pattern that, not everyone who's interested continues. So it is important that we cater to all category of people as a group. And when I say all category, those who are beginners who want to start, whatever help we can offer them. And then there are regular moderate cyclists. Maybe I come in that category, though I can do 30, 40, 50 kilometers. I'm not a pro, or I'm not taking challenges every week, a month, and posting and stuff like that. And there are ones who are serious cyclists who will do 100 plus over the weekend, and they take up challenges, etc. So these are the three broad categories, and this group in terms of exchange of information will cater to all three. And this is the pyramid that I talked about in the first. So there is a bottom of the pyramid, and there's the mid pyramid, and there is the elite group at top of it. How this will evolve, what all we will do, I think it's a free-flowing, evolving group. I'm facilitating this, having done that in the past, and I'll seek help from all the active members as we go forward, and we'll kind of run it. It will be run by all of us for all of us. And that's the concept of this group. So let me take 30 seconds about myself and Sriram, and then we'll get into the slides. My name is Chandrasekhar. I'm 47 years. I'm 2019 49th batch of FFD. I did very well within few weeks of taking the course complete. I was only on medication, reversed it. My HbA1c was 6.5. It was around 9, 10. It came down. During the COVID, again, I went off track. But my lifestyle is still 90% based on the FFD principles and diet. I have my cheat days, I have my issues, but happily following the FFD lifestyle. And cycling, I've been cycling for about, I guess, 6-7 years. As I said, a weekend of 40-50 kilometers, and then occasional 100 plus, and yearly once or twice, 2 days, 3 days getaways to various parts. So that's it about me. Shri, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Sriram, and I was in the 51 batch. So 2019 September is when I joined FFD. And so I have tried to be more or less disciplined. Even now I try. I mean, I didn't have the complete reversal, obviously. So that I don't have, but it has definitely improved my lifestyle. It has definitely improved my stamina, improved everything else, reduced my tablet dramatically. So all that is great journey in FFD. And cycling, I started cycling probably, I mean, though I did probably 2010 and all, I have done some cycling outside, but I purchased a cycle only in 2018 with the help from Chandru. Okay, so he took me to Decathlon, we bought it together and all that. So we had a good journey at that time. And so for about 5 plus years, I am cycling here. So, I mean, weekend probably, okay, once or twice a month is what we try to do, 40, 50 and all that. So it materialized nicely today. So 70 kilometers we could do today. So that was a good journey. So yeah, so it goes. And yeah, I think that's it about myself.
We can get going with the cycle. Ramanathan ji, we finished the introduction. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, go ahead with the slide. See, without basics of cycling, So, yeah, Shri, if you can start operating.
Yeah.
Yeah, by who?
By
We've
who?
already introduced ourselves, but next, are we experts? This is a disclaimer. No, we are just guys with some experience. We are long way before we call ourselves our experts. Names are known to you guys. Next, Shri.
Next one. Okay. Why cycling?
I think this is Shri. You take the lead, and I'll chip in wherever there are additional points to be made. Go ahead.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, cycling is essentially a good workout. It is not going to impact your joints. It's a kind of a smooth workout kind of a thing. But I mean, we also need to do other kind of workouts apart from cycling. But cycling is one part of the, I mean, your fitness routine. So you can do once a week or once in 2 weeks or whatever. That is something you can make as a cycling thing. Okay. What it helps you, okay, it will boost your mental energy. It's going to be a group activity. You might do outdoor, you might visit some places nearby, you might explore some totally unseen places. Maybe some dam is nearby, maybe some lake is nearby. You will find some new places. You will meet new friends, new colleagues, new I mean FFDNs, and maybe new whoever. And it's actually if you do long rides, maybe about 2 hours, 3 hours, I mean 60, 70, 80 kilometers, you are going to burn almost 500 calories per hour. So it is going to aid you in losing weight. Fantastic. It's a good tool for weight loss. The effort is flexible. I mean, you want to do fast rides, you want to do slow rides, you want to do you want to take a lot of breaks. It's really up to you how you want to do it. Okay, low impact. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the word I was looking for, low impact exercise. So doesn't I mean, knee problems should be kept under control. But of course, if you have real issues with the knee, I mean, it's better to check with a doctor, an ortho who's a specialist who can, so that you can start off. I mean, if your knee is under control, then you can start off. Otherwise, you'll have to check first, and then you have to think about it. Muscle strengthening, it could be, for example, leg muscles and all that could be strengthened, back muscles. Or for good cycling, you have to strengthen these muscles and then do the cycling. All these things are also there. And socializing, you can see good crowd, you can mix with people. I think today we had a bad kind of accident when a lady fell down, and then we helped her. So I mean, we kind of gel together, bond together. So that is something very cool about cycling.
Yeah, I think cyclist, it's an identity. If I summarize what all is in this slide, it is fun, flexible, and it's a great fitness activity without impacting a particular joint excessively. It's a very smooth. It's like how we say swimming is the best, of course, from a hydrotherapy and impact on the body. So cycling may not be in the same category, but it is one of the low impact exercises. You have your, I mean, as Shri was mentioning, you can decide your pace. As long as you're not competing anyway, how much you want to ride, when you want to ride, when you want to take break. Of course, over a period of time, once you start pursuing it a little more seriously, you will be tempted to be competitive, but within your limits. But the group will definitely help you, extract that benefit. So it's fun, flexible, and a great fitness activity. Go ahead.
Okay, so the pre-qualifications. Okay, the first thing is you should know basic balancing. We will not be able to help you there. Okay, so if you have problems in balancing itself, starting ride, then it's a little bit of a problem. If you are riding a two-wheeler already, if you are riding a bike already, then you should have the basic balancing. So that is the number one, because if there is a risk of falling, then you might hurt your knee, you might hurt whatever. So be careful to start with. At least basic balancing should be there. And if you have any knee pain or back pain issues, that could be a stopper. First, get that resolved. I mean, you need to get a proper medical or maybe ortho specialist recommendation, and then decide to start. And no current medical advice. Okay, so if there is any medical advice, then that has precedence. So you have to follow that advice from your doctor.
Yeah. So basic balancing means from a group's expectation. It is not as if that if you don't have basic balancing, you should not pursue, you should not get into cycling. From this group's perspective, there will be knowledge session, we'll be riding together, we'll be meeting together. All that is fine. But it will be very difficult for this group to help someone and hold their cycle kind of. I mean, I'm visualizing it. So you got to do that with the help of your family and neighbors or friends in the apartment or the community that you are living in case you have an issue. Most of us would be little hesitant if you're starting after 20-30 years, but trust me, a day or two is all that takes if you have cycled in the past. And I've seen examples of people haven't cycled all their life and have also become regular cyclists in my own friend circle. So there is enough encouragement for you to start. But yeah, if the basic balancing itself you're apprehensive, you don't know, there'll be very little that this group or community can help you. So you kind of make your investment. You have to pay the school fee. That school fee, the donation that you give is to ensure that you master the balancing of it and do the apartment rounds, and then we can take you from there, graduate into a regular cyclist. I think that much we can assure you. Yeah, go ahead. If we stop here, Sri,
Yeah.
anyone in these three category out of the 5 of people listening, go back to the previous slide.
Yeah.
Any issue here? All 5 of you, basic balancing is not an issue?
No, not an issue at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Not an
Anuja, I know you ride 5+ kilometers.
Yeah.
Madhusudan, sir? You're on mute.
I'm cycling regularly.
Very good, sir. Thank you. And Pramod, you don't have a balancing problem. Divya, what about you?
Yeah, I have I used to ride cycles, so I
Okay.
don't have a
Before you
balancing
start,
problem.
have you tried off
Yes,
late?
sorry.
Have you tried off late riding maybe 100, 200, 500 meters within the apartment or wherever you stay?
No, I have rode only kinetic Honda in the recent past.
Now, what you're going to do is once we finish this session, in the days and weeks to follow, that's a homework for those who are starting after a long gap, that please try it out. Since you're riding a two-wheeler, you know the basic road sense of a two-wheeler. Since you've ridden in the past, it's not as if that you're going to forget it. I mean, initially you'll be a little apprehensive, but take help of, as I said, family and friends nearby, and start riding in the road in front of your house. If it's an apartment complex, it's very safe. And then you will get the mojo back, and then we can kind of tell you. This session anyway covers the basics of bike and what to select and all that. Yeah. So please do that. Okay. Yeah. She go ahead.
But I do. Sorry, I
So-
do fall into the second category of knee and back pain issues because I've
Ah,
had.
I see.
That's when I stopped actually, kind of, because I used to
Okay,
play
so
basketball, and then I
Specific
had
answer to that is, if you have an acute knee pain, I've written acute. If you are just not sure, even I have knee pains, I wear a magnet around, I wear knee supports when I do 50+ or 100+ kilometers. So there are two ways of looking at it, Divya, that the regular cycling can actually make the little bit of knee pain disappear also.
Okay.
Unless you have an acute pain which is stopping you, you hold this in pain and there is a big cramp kind of issues, then you'll have to see a ortho or a physiotherapist. Otherwise, a minor hesitation. See, if you cycle after 20-25 years, say even 5 kilometers, a week later or 10 days, you will feel some knee pain, but that is not pain per se. It is the body telling you that you have not used my muscles for so long. So that's okay. So yeah, okay. Medical advice means, for example, this is only for maybe speed cycling, or if you're doing 40-50+. I have a condition. I have a heart ailment history from 2013. Though I do regular long distance cycling, I am advised to keep my heart rate below 150. So I just wanted to mention that if there is any heart related issues, it is better to check with the cardio. No cardio, nobody says don't cycle. Cycling is very good, as I've said, all other parameters willing. It's just that if there is any heart ailment or a background, you will be asked to not to take your heart rate to 180, 190, 200. When you are on a steep and a low or a higher gear, you can pump up your heart rate to 190, 200. Till my cardiologist told me, I used to be the lead cyclist in my group. and always always wanting to compete with the rest of the guys, and my heart rate recorded is 180, 190 and all that. And then one of the regular consultation, he told me to, it's not as if nothing will happen, but it is advisable to keep it below 150. For me, it's very, very personal, issue. So I keep it below that 150. I compromise a bit of speed for my stamina and to keep the HR, and I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, go ahead, Sri.
Okay, so how to get started? So who can ride? I mean, man, woman, it's a gender neutral activity, so anybody can ride. Okay. So childhood, okay, if you have ridden in the past as a child, obviously you cannot forget balancing. You cannot forget riding a cycle. You cannot forget that. So you will, it might take you, let's say, 10-15 minutes to actually recollect back and try it out. And then you should be able to do it. So basic balancing, if you have two-wheeler, if you have ridden that, it should be more or less fine. Okay, then road safety. Yeah, so you have to, be careful about road sense and all that. So if you have riding two-wheeler, then obviously road sense and all that, it should be fine. We will talk more about safety gears and all that later, and we'll talk more about the budget of the cycles, okay, and the type of the cycles, basic, budget, whatnot, gear, gearless, and stuff like that. Maintenance, we'll have to keep our cycles in good condition, because if you don't use it regularly, then you have to do some little bit of basic oiling, basic maintenance and all that. It needs it is required, otherwise it will become more difficult for us to ride whenever we want to ride it. Okay, we'll also talk about the different geometry and the safety accessories. All of that we'll talk about in today's presentation.
2.3 in this slide. When we are mentioning roads and safety, even if you are a regular cyclist within the community, the road conditions outside have changed dramatically. For example, when I'm teaching my sons, the elder one cycles to his college and back, I rode with him the first few days, how to cross the road. If there is an incline, what to do. It is okay to get down and walk and pull your cycle along. In a real traffic area, you don't have to cross a four rasta or a junction in full speed. So these are all the minor but important aspects. And it is always good to ride in a group if you are very new in the outside world and if you're not ridden for quite some time, or maybe reach a nearby park and cycle there for about 2-3 kilometers. So you have to make yourself comfortable with the conditions outside. Safety also includes lighting conditions, dogs. The road quality is so bad that when you're trying only, you're having a off-roading kind of experience. Choose a flat surface. Don't choose too much of an incline. In my case, our apartment has got a ramp, exit ramp. So let me tell you that I had ridden before in Gurgaon for about 2-3 years. After I came back to Bangalore, we formed this group. All the cyclists that today have done 100-200 kilometers, everybody failed the exit ramp test. None of them could complete the exit ramp without getting off the bike. So why I'm saying is all these small things will have to be worked out in and around your area till you become comfortable. If you happen to joining us for the ride, we will guide you. But when you're trying out, keep these minor aspects in mind, number one. Number two, you will be surprised why maintenance. Maintenance is very normal, universal point, right? But I'll tell you, maintenance of the bike or lack of maintenance of the bike is one of the big culprits of people quitting or not doing enough. You go down, the tire is flat, oh, I will leave it. And then that leave it will take 6 months. You go there and the gear is missing, leave it. So please be clear that like your body, the machine has to be loved and maintained. I'm using the word very, very carefully. Else, you can you can tie up with regular service contracts, all that is available. But the best thing to do is to be watchful and watch out the baby, as we call it, as it's your love, like how we take care of a car or bikes. So much this bike cycle has to be cared and loved, then only it will treat you well and it will keep you safe. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, first is buying. Okay, so we need to enjoy the shopping.
Especially for Pramod.
So we have to buy the right machine. So we'll talk about the various categories of machines. So we'll talk about that. Okay, adequately protect your body. So you'll also have to buy some accessories which you, for safety, security, for comfort, all of that. And we should love the experience of buying because we might actually be skeptical on spending a lot of money and all that. I mean, yeah, all of us are, we want to keep our money safe, no doubt, and we don't want to spend too much. But I mean, make sure you buy the right equipment at the right cost. So don't crib too much and don't postpone it. So it's for your health, it's for your good. So go ahead and buy it. Okay, cheaper than okay. So what is the cost? It's cheaper than smartphones. Many smartphones today, I mean,
Which you
people are
change every 2
iPhone.
years, or maybe
I mean, 1 lakh.
maximum a year now.
I mean, iPhone 1 lakh. I mean, some other phone 50,000, whatever. So people are prepared to splurge on the smartphones. Okay, smart and fancy smartwatches today. Okay, I mean, though you have really good budget watches at 4,000, 5,000, but people splurge on Apple Watch and this and that, 20, 30,000 and all that. No? And earrings and other jewelry and all that. So, I mean, when you splurge in all these things, you can also splurge on your fitness equipment, cycle and stuff like that. Okay.
No offense meant. Just adding a couple of points here. See,
Right.
It's so ironical that we buy. Even I'm wearing one, right? It's a T-Rex smartwatch. This guy is only useful provided I do a lot of stuff. We happily buy and wear it as an accessory, but when it comes to a machine, which is an investment in your own health, I think we hesitate. So this slide is to ensure that be generous on your body and your health investment. Don't be conjuice. And I had mentioned this in the group while forming the group also, that I'm making a little gender biased statement here. Indian men culturally are very, very reluctant to spend money on themselves, whether it is grooming. We don't go to spas and grooming, and we don't get our nails cleaned, a manicure, pedicure, which is also a good grooming. And we don't spend on our health well. So the last line also, I'll take this, Sri. Try to take this cycling as a cool thing that you're doing, whatever is your age. I mean, way bright colors, fancy shoes, all this psychologically helps you to do this well, right? When you join a gym, you want the best looking shoes and the shirt showing the biceps and all that, right? So same approach helps here. And that's not a bad thing. Absolutely right thing to do. Yeah, Pramod, you're ready?
Okay,
Super.
so now we will talk about the bikes.
Yeah.
You have something to add, Pramod?
No. I just forgot. I responded to Chandrasekhar, then realized my mic was off.
You're
so-
in mute. Yeah. We are very less number of people. You can keep the mic on. No issues.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead,
so
Sri.
types of bikes we have. Okay, so we have the first type, which is a mountain bike or all-terrain bike. That's the first type. Second one is a hybrid or a city bike, and the third one is a road bike. We'll go to the next one, so we'll see the details of each one.
Each one we'll see.
So MTB, ATB. Okay, so typically this comes with good shock absorbers because this is mainly, it's for off-roading, it's for uneven roads, it's for really gravel or maybe uphill, whatever. Okay, it's not for pure roads. You can of course ride it on roads also. So which is the reason why it is called all-terrain. So it will have good shock absorbers. You can see in the front you have good shock absorbers. Some of them they also come with a seat shock absorber. Okay, in this one it doesn't have one. It only has the front shock absorber, which is good. And mostly the handlebar is flat. As you observe, it is flat. It's not dropped down or whatever. This is the typical mountain bike or all-terrain bike kind of a thing. The tires, if you notice, is quite broad and it has a lot of grip and good friction and all that. It's good for off-roading, for stones, for gravel and whatnot. It's for everything. So terrains can be anything: rocky, gravel, snow, slush. Everything you can use it, and it has good grip. It can be ridden on the road. Only thing is, for road it might need more effort. So it is not the best one for the road. But if you buy this, of course you can use it for road also.
So let me tell you a couple of places where people usually go wrong. Again, this bike is good. Majority of the people end up buying this as their first bike. If they don't have a session like this, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very macho, colorful. You go to any shop, including Decathlon, the MTBs and ATBs are the one which are displayed very prominently because they look good. They're beefier. They're broader and they're good looking ones. They're like models. But the trouble with this is good, as the Sri said, you can use it on the road also very well. There's no issue. But slowly when you start graduating from 5-10 kilometers to 15-20-25 hour, you want to seriously do, or you're doing only road rides, the efficiency of this, both in terms of the weight that you carry, typically an MTB, ATB, given the shock absorbers, the spring, the body strength that is needed to do a mountain biking, they are in 20 plus category usually, unless you're going for a alloy and carbon fiber and all that. So they're 20 plus. And hence they're heavy. So besides your weight, you have to carry the weight of the bike, number one. The tires are very fat and wide, so they grip the surface really well. So you have to move your entire effort to overcome that friction. So while it is very grippy, you don't need, when you look at the other two bikes, you'll realize how little contact point is enough for the cycle and the wheel to keep moving very efficiently. So anyone who is in the medium term wanting to get into 20, 25, 30 kilometers, you can still do. There are a lot of people, even in FFD, Legends group and all that, these kind of bikes, people are doing 20, 30. So don't think that it is not doable. It is just that it will be inefficient and unnecessarily carrying the load that is not needed. Hence, for all of us, the next slide is very important. Go ahead, Sri.
Okay, so the next one we see here is the hybrid, or you can call it the city bike. So this bike is more or less similar to the previous one. The only difference is that the tire. So the tires, if you see, okay, shock absorbers, normally it may have a shock absorber. In this model from Decathlon, this has a shock absorber, which is good for people who are slightly older, so that it protects your hand and arms and whatever. So you don't have too much of shock. So it is good, but it will add a little bit of weight to the cycle if you have a front shock absorber. There are models without the front shock absorber, which is also reasonable. The budget will be little lower if you go for without shock absorber. So it's really your choice. So, I mean, I would recommend you, if you ask me, I would recommend you with the shock absorber, even if it the weight is maybe half a kilo or maybe 1 kilo more, that is okay. Similarly, the cost will be 5,000-10,000 more. I think it is it's money well spent. It is for you. It is for your comfort. Okay, that's the first one. And then flat handlebars is almost similar with the previous category which we have seen. And you can see the tire. The main difference between the MTB and this one, this tire is much smoother and much. The breadth is, or the wheelbase is much smaller compared to the other one. But it is not too small. Okay, it is reasonably good, and it is. It's actually good for both. Which is why it is called hybrid. So you can do little bit of gravel, little bit of humps, potholes you can do, but it is typically made for roads. So for road trips and all that, especially for India, because you know that even if you go for a short distance, somewhere outside, there'll be some bump, there'll be some up and down road, there'll be some gravel. So for all that kind of thing, this bike is pretty good. Okay, it is not only for this. Off-roading, it is probably not the best choice, but for all normal riding in the city, it is absolutely good.
Yeah, Pramod, you wanted to ask something?
Yeah, just want to know, can I ask questions in between, or should I just wait for the end?
Please, you can
It's relevant to this particular slide, ask here, but if it is a very generic question of selection and all that, we can take it in the end.
I'm not sure. You can decide to think. I just want to know, check the valve on these tires are similar to the bikes and cars, or is it a different valve?
It is probably, okay, there are two types. Okay, one of them is exactly the same as the one on the bikes. Okay, the one which I have from Decathlon is exactly the same. Okay. There is another one, road bike. I think Chandru's cycle has got a different valve, right, Chandru?
Valve, no, there are two different type of valves. One is the generic one, another is the Presto one, which requires, if you take a pump from, say, at least Decathlon, the standard brand, they give you an attachment so you can use for both. So it's not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, but if you choose, but when you go out, you're not carrying your pump and you want to get it filled at somewhere in a shop, it is better to stick to the normal one.
The normal one, yeah.
So that's one, it is not a bottleneck for us. So
it's one consideration when you buy the cycle. You can buy with you can look for something which is having a normal one. That's it.
Okay, thanks.
So a couple of points here is hybrid is the universal choice for all of us, and some of us will obviously move up to the road bike, because that's the next efficient. We will cover that. Here I wanted to mention that with or without shock absorbers, typically Bangalore, potholes and city roads, and we have 5-10 kilometers before we have the smooth road in whichever area we are living in. So it is okay to have a shock absorbers. The weight of a hybrid typically varies between 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 kg. So you are talking about a good 6, 7, 8 kilos, in sometimes 10 kilos lower than a mountain bike. Obviously, model to model will be different, but a ballpark figure. So 10, 12 is considered as very good. Even without the shock absorbers, it is absolutely fine. It's not as if that. Only thing is you have to use the hands and the arms as the flexible. You should not hold it tight. That's a universal. The hands, when you're holding the handlebar tight like this, gripping, your hands become very rigid. You lock the elbow. But the moment you keep it a cushion kind of stuff, that will not lead any problems for your shoulders and your arms and all that. So the one way to do is take without the shock absorbers, but make sure that you are not gripping it so tightly throughout your journey, because one hump will hit you. It's not as if that you will have an immediate problem, but on a long duration, it definitely helps you, suspension. Another feature which in the group that you're discussing is, if you have an MTB or an ATB, you can look at the possibility of just changing the tire. Provided you have compatible tires, and if it is tube, even the tube changes, because the MTBs is much wider, fatter tires, and the tube also expands that big. So when you go in for a hybrid, it is much narrower in terms of its circumference and the tube size, the inflation. So you have to go in for a tire and tube combination. Yeah. Shri, we can go to the last one.
Okay, so road bike is the one which has the fancy handlebar, so that you can notice straight away. That's called the drop down handlebar. Okay, and mostly these tires are much thinner than the other two category. Okay, so the road wheelbase is actually much smaller than the hybrid, and definitely much smaller than the MTB or ATB. Okay, and so you can see that it's more aerodynamic, and the geometry is different. So you will have to bend down. So if you see, the seat height is higher and the handlebar position is lower. So generally when you sit itself, you have to really bend down. So if you want to ride a road bike, then better to have better back and better abs. So the core has to be really good. Only then you will enjoy the road bike riding experience. Okay. And so drop down, you have to, you have to really go down, and then so it's more aerodynamic position. So the geometry is totally different. So it is meant for really fast aerodynamic riding. So if you have observed some of this road racing, and for example, Tour de France or whatever, no? Tour de Suisse, or so all of these guys are all, into these kind of machines. So really good, really fast. And people can go on an uphill maybe at 40 kilometers per hour. So that is the kind of speed these guys can do. So that
couple of points here is no shock absorber by default in the design. You could actually try to hold the flat bar at sometimes to give relief to your back if needed, but then there has to be an additional brake levers there at the flat end, or when you have to brake, your hands have to be at the levers for applying the brake. So you're constantly bent for a better aerodynamic, piercing the air and moving ahead. And even the helmets are aerodynamically designed. So it is not as if it's too hi-fi and nervous. 20-30% of us will end up buying. Shri has both. He has got a hybrid, he has got a road bike as well. So we can choose for the occasion. Once you are a serious cyclist, you will end up owning multiple machines also. So what I'm saying is, for a moderate regular cycling, this can be kept out. But for few people who want to pursue this as a serious activity, 50, 100 kilometers, a long distance, endurance ride, racers, and all of them will by default have to go in. The weight of this is typically below 10 kgs, 8, 9, and a carbon fiber one could go as low as 4.5, 5 kgs. They'll be very expensive, carbon fiber, but maybe little more money than the hybrid. One can get a low end of the road bikes as well. How much did the road bike you have taken in cost you?
I think it was around 45,000.
45 to 50K, but that's a between Decathlon. Decathlon is not elite premium bike. They are
kind
very
of
much
low, right?
value for money range.
Right. So mine has only the fork, front fork is carbon. The rest of the bike is normal aluminum alloy.
Okay.
So, so that's the reason it was cheaper.
Yeah. So we, for all practical purpose, if somebody is interested, we can discuss this in smaller groups or people who have knowledge and who are riding. I have in my cycling group, there are regular cyclists who do speed cycling, 100, 200, 300, 400 kilometers a day. Okay. So these are crazy guys and whom we kind of respect and look up to. And so those are, then I also had an Ironman athlete in our building who migrated to US. His carbon fiber machine costed 12 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 9 lakhs, in that range. So every bit of weight reduction and efficiency and the tire grip and the gear selection all matters for them because they are pursuing speed and efficiency and so on.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is just a general knowledge. Yes, so you know what is SO? Show off. We also know all these terminologies. So just to tell you that there are different types of handlebars. When we use the word flat handlebar, it's not just a pipe. It is ergonomically bent like this. Riser handlebar you can see, just a bend. So all of them come in a broad category of flat bars. And then there is obviously the drop down. And then there can be fancy ones that you are seeing. So we typically go by a flat or a raised flat handbar most of the times. Unless you're going for the road bike, in which case default option is a drop down handle.
Drop down. Yeah. Okay, so here we have a lot of terminology. I think you have added this, so you can go ahead, Chandru.
Yeah, I'll do that. So just to tell you the basics, you can keep pressing one by one the part. Of course, it's a road bike, but most of the parts are clear. So nomenclature should be clear to all of us. Handlebar, go on clicking one by one. The second is the fork. Why the fork is mentioned here is either it is a fork or there is a suspension. These days, almost hybrid machines comes with a carbon fiber fork only, because that's a very important piece of the bike. Rest of the body is aluminum. So you can check that out. There'll be bike will look same, but there will be a cost difference. At the moment there is a fiber fork. Yeah, go ahead. Then there is the seat, which is called as a saddle. Very, very important saddle height. The seat post, because it is adjustable according to your height, you should have, there'll be seat posts which are clamped with 2 nuts and bolts. It will be very difficult for you to adjust. The good ones, all this, each and every feature I'm telling you costs a little bit of money. The seat post clamp can be just one press, like all of us have in our bikes. So you adjust and just lock it. It's that easy, and it will hold your weight. So if you take a 8,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees bike, it will have nut and bolt, and you'll have to take a spanner and tighten it, maybe a Hero and all that. And of course, they are also improving now. So make sure that you have the right kind of easily adjustable seat post and a seat clamp. Brakes, we will cover in the next slides. There are basically 2 types of V brakes, which are nothing but rubber pads rubbing against the rim, and they break it. And then there is this disc. So there is a disc within the wheel hub, and then that presses against the disc pad. So that's a far sharper, better braking. We will cover that. Then there is a crank set. The entire stuff, the sprocket, the wheel that you see in the front is the crank set, crank arm. Next one, where do we go? The pedal, of course. Some of the road bikes come with clip-on pedals where you lock your riding shoes to it. So we are not covering that here as it.
Chain.
Yeah, chain, everybody knows. Okay. Anything more important?
Yeah. Derailleur. Okay.
Derailleur is the one which changes the gear. In case you have a multiple gears in the front and the back, again, we will cover that going forward.
Correct. Front derailleur,
one that which just changes, and the rear derailleur.
rear derailleur. Okay. Next one is the cassette. Okay.
Cassette. The number of gears put together at the rear is called as a cassette. So you have a 7-gear, 8-gear, 10-gear system with number of teeth, 11 to 34, 35. So that will decide the combination. It can be just one option in the front with 7. So you're talking about 7:1. You can have 3 in the front and 7, 8, and 9 in the back. So you'll have 27 gear options possible. 1:1 and 1:9 and 2:1 and 2:9 and 3:1 and 3:9. So there are multiple combinations available. When you choose a bike, we can just help you with the standard would be 1 or 2 or 3 maximum in the front and 7 or 8 in the back. So it is 8:3, 7:3 are pretty standard.
And then you have the bottle cage. So you
Bottle cage is important for us because you need to carry water. Hydration is very, very important. So it is a must. You have to take. You should not carry it in the bag. And this costs maybe 100 rupees, 150 rupees. So many people in the initial days, then they will stop. They will open the bottle. So it takes away all the fun and the momentum that you have built up. Yeah. So it's very important that you accessorize the bike well with very, very intelligent stuff. No fancy stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, quick release, that is for the wheel. So you have a quick release.
One point on that is the quick release will help you to carry the bike in your cars and dickies or whatever. So the front wheel can be taken out. This is also another feature. A hybrid bike costing 25,000 and a hybrid bike costing just 12,000. You have to observe this. A quick release is like how I said the seat lock. It is just pull out and screw and the wheel comes off in a very safe manner, and it gets locked also a very safe manner. If you don't have a quick release, you will open both the nuts and then remove it and you have to assemble it back. So these are all some of the features which are very, very helpful in maintaining, taking it to a service station. If you're not riding, if there is a breakdown, if there is a puncture, you can put it in your car. With the full, both the wheels in its place, many cars don't take this. You can't accommodate in a sedan or whatever. So if you remove the wheel, it becomes very, very easily handleable. Yeah, go ahead, Shri. We can rush a bit.
The next one.
I'll go ahead with this. The gears I've already briefed. Suspension, I will just go ahead.
Quick release ho gaya. Oh, it goes to the next one. Okay, take it. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll take this. Gears we've already explained. A combination I can tell you. The third picture is the gear engaging, increasing, reducing levers. Typically, there is one to increase the numbers and decrease the numbers. Very easy. The right usage of the gears is something that we'll have to write together with us. So we can give you a lot of theory. But when you ride with us, we'll observe and let you know. I think even the city rides, we can help you with what's the optimal way of changing the gear before you hit a climb or a steep, or when are you supposed to change the gears. All those can be taught while riding together. Suspensions, I've already told you, with or without. With suspension, especially those who are buying the hybrid bike, which is most of us, by little additional money, you can go in for a lockable suspension, which means when you're using it in a lightly rough terrain or your potholes, you're riding in the city, the suspension will move fully. If the travel is 40 mm, 50 mm, it will come up and go down and come up. But you can lock it at that position. Almost it makes it a very efficient road bike because there is no shock absorber action any longer happening. So I've put a suspension picture there, external compression adjustment and the lock, right? So you can lock it. Slightly even more expensive, you can lock it at various levels. You are riding it in a slightly bumpy road, you take the movement to 10-20% and lock it there. So it will have some movement, it will give some cushion. You're in a really bumpy road, increase the suspension to maximum. So these are all additional features for first buyers for Bangalore, 20-30 kilometers. A good hybrid with a good suspension, which is not very heavy, is good enough. Lockable is a luxury. And brake I've already briefed. The disc brake also comes in hydraulic, again outside the scope of this. When we want to, maybe in the next sessions, whenever we cover, we can do that. Last point.
Sorry, just a quick question. What's the typical kind of price difference between a regular brake and a disc brake, and what's the maintenance like?
See, maintenance, both are, in my opinion, the same. Hydraulic is expensive. Even I don't have hydraulic. I've considered maybe next upgrade, I probably will go hydraulic. It's even more sharper and better. It's fancier, whatever you call it. And even the high-end bikes also come with hydraulic sometimes by default, right? But the V-brake to disc brake, there'll be a difference of, depending on the make and the model, 2, 3, 4, 5,000 rupees difference, because there are two discs on front and both, and then there are the pads, and the alignment of the disc brakes have to be absolutely precise. Otherwise, the gap is so less between the brake pads and the disc that if you don't align it, it'll keep rubbing against it. Okay?
But is it typically advised when if you're really a fast rider, or typically for motorbikes, that disc brake is because the stopping distance is better and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
but for the kind of speeds that we do on the cycle, let's say starting range, does it really warrant a disc brake?
I wouldn't say that disc brake is a must.
Okay.
But automatically, it's like choosing a camera of megapixel. By default, in certain smartphone of 50,000 rupees, you will get a 25 megapixel, right? So you will not be able to pick and choose. No, I want this bike, but I don't want the disc brake.
Okay.
Incidentally, very high-end elite bikes also have V-brakes. It is not. But for all practical purposes for us, we have seen the mid-range of users like you and me. A disc brake is good, and you will end up buying a V-brake, aligning it, the brake pad rubs against it, the technician will do something. You will get bored of that, and then you will say, I should have gone for a disc brake. So it is only wisdom that is telling you, go for a disc brake if budget is not a problem. But we are not against V-brakes. We love them too.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you take this.
Other accessories. Okay, safety first. So helmet, and then we have this gloves, then goggles. So goggles, 3 types: sunglasses, and then for night riding, night vision. And then you have the padded shorts here. Plus we have the body lift. I was using the body reflector today for after a long time. So body reflector is something which you can also use. So that will improve the visibility. So motor cars and other drivers can easily see you with all the reflected light from their own cars. And shoes. So shoe, we have here the clipless shoes, which is totally hard base. It is made of fiber base, so it is really hard. And I think the first and the last shoe are kind of, let's say, hard sole shoes.
Yeah, I'll take that. There are only 2 points I wanted to add. What is the significance of some of the points that we are mentioning here? Gloves, one can ride without the gloves. But if you're riding regularly, your palm will start sweating, they'll start rubbing, it will start becoming rough. And God forbid you have a fall. Usually these are the ones which will protect you, or going to land on your, it's like biking, Pramod. It's very simple. And gloves is again comes in for 400 rupees to 1,000, 1,020. It's not a big deal, but it's cool, it's safer, and it helps you to ride without too much of irritation on your palms. Helmet is a must. You shouldn't ride without an helmet. A body reflector on that, depending on your condition, you could use just a 3M sticker costing 25 rupees on the back of your bag. It can be on your dress if it's a slightly reflective material, purple, while. So all these bright colors will help. Take a yellow jersey, that will also help. Even in the helmet here, instead of black, you can go in for a radium, light, neon green. So you can have as fancy as possible. That's on the stove. When it comes to shoes, many people do the mistake of riding with the most comfortable cushion spongy shoes. Let me tell you that when you're pressing the pedal, on an average of 15 to 20 to 25% of your effort get absorbed by these soles. The comfy shoes that we use for Skechers, the walking, the Air Nike ones, the ones that we normally use for our comfort. Remember, when you're on the machine bike, you're not walking. You can barely feel the comfort. It's just enveloping your foot. What helps you is, harder the sole, the better it is for the transfer of weight. Assume that you are applying 5 kg pressure and the cushion absorbs 20% of that. So you're that much more inefficient. So I'm not saying that you have to buy the rider's shoes or the clip-on shoes. Whichever shoes, if you have multiple shoes, try to choose the one with the hardest sole that is possible. Yeah, the flip side too is it's not either that you will park the cycle and take 10 rounds in Lalbagh, you will feel discomfort because it is made for riding. So the jugaad that I figured out is a cricket shoes for me works wonders on cycle because I'm not a expert athlete who's doing a clip-on shoes, and clip-on shoes are like steel plate. You can't even walk 200, 500 meters in that. They have to remove and bare walk. The real, sprinting cyclist and the road bikes. But for us, don't choose the spongy one out of whatever you have. Recently, I bought, I think I'll share it in the group. Adidas, I think, is doing some clearance sale, 50%, 40%, 60%. In fact, I rode with my new set of shoes today. They are very comfortable and very efficient with a hard sole. I will share that in the group post this call. Yeah, and goggles. 1 second, 1 minute on goggles, please. They are not just fancy. They cover and protect you against dust. Insects are a issue. You are in the middle of the road and running, and some insect gets into it. Your eye, it can be very problematic. And you can't have a cool glass at 4 a.m. in the morning. So there is this sunglass, there is this plain glass, and there is this low light glass. The low light glass is what I call as the miracle glass for me. You wear it at 4:30, 5 o'clock in low light, it will be as if there is sunlight around you. It's magical glass. And it doesn't cost much. I think even in Decathlon, you will get it for as low as 300 rupees, a lowest one, and maybe 1,000, 1,500 rupees, a set of glass, all of them put together, replaceable glasses. The frame will be one. You can change the glasses, 1,500 rupees, you will get 5 set of glasses. Funkier one, the low light one, the plain one. So none of this is shown here as a fancy stuff. All of them have their purpose. And you can choose your budget. Like one could go in for a 200 rupees, goggles. One could go in for a 2,000 rupees goggles. But having one is a must. Most of the stuff here mentioned in my cycling parlance experience is a must.
Chandrasekhar, do you get goggles that sit over the top of your prescription lens? Because I noticed you also wear a prescription lens.
But this is only a reading glass. I am not an expert. You got to wear it all time, is it? Your prescription lens?
I wear it, yeah. I get up in the morning, I wear it till I sleep.
I can check with a couple of people who have this kind of issue. I am not personally aware whether
one thing what I know is 3M has this 3M has a safety goggles, which is not exactly the same as this, but that's also covers your entire eyes and then even the sides. So and you can wear it in front of most of the. It's a little bit bulky, but that works.
It's almost like a swimming goggle kind of a stuff, right?
More than swimming, I think it's more like all this miniature version of what the welders wear.
Nice.
Okay, I also got something, but I'll check. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, it's called 3M safety glasses or something like that. I got one for like 100 rupees on Amazon or something. That's a slightly smaller one, but I mean, I can't wear it on top of my existing glasses. But even that is as good as the Decathlon ones, but it's a plain one. I think you will get one more which is slightly wider and accommodative of your existing glasses as well. It's more used for any safety work.
Okay, thanks.
So it is 8:10. So we started at 7:15. We have done 55 minutes, but we have answered some questions. We are doing okay. We can go to the next slide, Sri.
Yeah. Okay. So reflectors. Okay. So a few more safety gears and accessories which is must have. One is the wheel reflector. So these two are the wheel reflectors which are very handy and good. The second one is a bell. So either you can have a mechanical bell like this one, or you can have a electronic bell which is based on battery or key or whatever, something like that. Then comes your headlight and tail light. So headlight, if it's riding on the dark, you should definitely have a headlight which is white bright light and all that, and then you have a tail light which will either be blinking red or static red or whatever. So these two are pretty much important. And here you have the bottle holder cage, so that is something you need as well. And then comes the mobile holder plus pannier bag for the front handlebar. So this comes pretty handy because on top you can keep your phone. If you want to look at directions, you can also set it and look at it. So that's good. And you can keep some safety kit, maybe some tool kit or whatever. Maybe you want to keep one apple or whatever, your bar, biscuit, whatever you want to keep, that it also comes handy.
Yeah, a couple of points here is many of the cycles today come with reflector in the wheel. You can go in for additional if you feel so. As I said, 3M tape is a great idea to stick it to as many places as possible if you need be, if you feel that it's not adequate. From the sides also people should see you. On the headlight part, one is for your visibility if you are riding in the dark. Not really dark, there will be some light hopefully, but it is also to tell the vehicles coming from opposite side that you are there. It may not throw you enough light to see the road completely, but you have to ensure and the other vehicle drivers have to notice you. So a headlight becomes important not only to look at the road that you're riding, it is telling people that telling the world that you are riding here, your presence. And tail lamps is again an absolute must. It should be flashing light, good one, good quality one. Don't compromise on some of this because you want the truck behind you, car behind you to see you. A reflector on the backpack, maybe radium color, bright colors, reflectors on the cycle. The more you put, the better it is for you.
Typically, Chandrasekhar, USB charged or battery powered these lights are, and which is better?
Most of them are USB charged now, so you don't have a problem of battery.
You have both. You have battery operated. Okay, in this example, I have shown you. I think both are battery operated, but you have USB also. Chargeable.
Any recommendation or USB is fine to go with?
It is up to you. Yeah, both are available. Both are good.
Okay.
Okay, then comes the accessories optional. Okay, when you're riding in a group, probably puncture kit and tool kit is not that important, but it's always good to have your own puncture tool kit, because if something happens, it is always good that we have multiple tool kits and multiple puncture kits available. Spare tube is something which you should always carry on a longer ride, because mostly hybrid cycles in my experience, mine has never got a flat so far, fortunately, touch wood, but it can have a puncture anytime, so we should be prepared for it. So the tool bag holder, which we have already seen the previous one, there you can store all this stuff. And then hydration powder is probably good idea if you are going for longer rides, because if you have dehydration, cramps and all that, and when you are sweating profusely, it is always good to rehydrate with these powders so that you get the essential nutrients and all that. So it's always good. Air pump, if you have a puncture kit and all that, if you have puncture down the road, then you should also need an air pump so that you can inflate it. Once you fix the puncture. First aid kit is always nice to have, especially in a group. Somebody falls down, somebody injures. Even if you find some cyclist on the road getting injured, if you have a first aid kit, it is always handy to help either yourself or somebody who you know. Then comes the cushion seat. So if you are going for a long ride, normally the gel padded shorts is the must, or is really recommended. Okay, but if you don't have a gel padded shorts, at least you should have a cushion seat. So, so the cushion seat will have a gel thing. So the thing is, either you have that or you have a gel padded shorts. So one of them is mandatory, kind of.
As we discussed in the group, Sri, I think anytime 99:1, it is the gel padded shorts as an option, and typically one should not combine both. Then you have a very adjacent movements, lateral movements between the two, the gel packs. So hard seat and a gel pack padded shorts are the combination. Again, in gel padded shorts, you can get it from 1,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees. So depending on your budget, the brand and the rating, what we are using, we will share it in the group. I can use that. Another point that I said, this
Comfort
puncture
level,
kit
sorry.
and all. Sorry?
Sorry, if you comfort level, I know you gave option either the gel seat or the gel padded shorts.
It is gel padded
Which is
short
the better
99:1. Only going for gel padded shorts. On top of it, if you want, it will have a lateral movement. Try avoiding a cushion. Maybe just take a simple foam cushion if you're feeling uncomfortable for some time. But once you become regular, what happens is there'll be bumps or when you start riding, right? You will feel that the most comfortable seat I should have. So instead of a gel padded sheet, you're going for a normal foam cover for some time. After that, you will throw it.
So the recommendation is for the shorts.
Shorts is a must, without which you will struggle big time. So going for a gel padded shorts, good quality one, that will take care. Initially, for some time, I had a foam seat and a gel padded short. After some time, you will figure out. Once the bumps are ready to take the load, you will feel that this is a unnecessary distraction for me. You will remove only the seat cover. In fact, all the racing seats don't have any padding, a cushion. They want it as comfortable, not hard, but they don't want any movement there. A cushion effect is not just like the shoes that we have.
So to start with riding, I mean, you should at least have a gel cushion seat. Okay, that it is a minimum requirement. I mean, for half an hour, 15 minutes riding, half an hour riding, that's fine. But for longer rides, 1 hour, 2 hours, and all that, gel padded shorts. I mean, obviously, that's the choice. Okay, let's go to the next one. Hydration and nutrition. Okay, so we have this hydration powder. This is from Decathlon, and then we have the basic water. Of course, you have to have. So this hydration powder will add you with replenishing the essential salts and stuff like that, and energy drink and all that if you like, and of course, you need to follow the FFD protocol also as much as possible. Nutrition. Okay, what else can you have on the ride? Okay, so you can have all kind of nuts and seed if you want. Okay, nuts and dry fruits. I mean, pista, then almonds, and some other kind of nuts. And you can have this nut-based bars that you can have. Any fruit, maybe an apple or something you can carry, banana maybe, or maybe some organic protein powder you can carry if you want.
So post the ride, you can come home and have protein powder. All these banana fruits and all that don't fall in the FFD protocol. But as I again repeat, when you're doing long distance cycling, it's not just the diabetes that you are worried about. You have to take care of your body and the nutrition that is needed to sustain the ride. So you will end up consuming and burning and happily come back with controlled sugar levels without any trouble. Even if there is a spike momentarily, not to worry about it. So any athletic identity where the focus is to ensure that you do that activity well and while maintaining as much as possible the FFD protocols. And if there is a deviation, so be it. And you will kind of cover that up. So don't jeopardize yourself or have unsafe conditions because I wanted to follow FFD. FFD are principles and guidelines. You're allowed to violate it and deviate it. If at all it is a must, it is okay. You can cover it back. So banana is absolutely fine.
Okay. Then tips for beginners. Okay, hydration is necessary, and if you are riding on a hot day, sun is there, what is recommended is 750 ml per hour. Okay, of fluids. So that is really essential. You need to be careful when you are riding when it is hot and sunny. You need to have good hydration. You can really get dehydrated, pretty quickly on a hot sunny day. After you ride, stretching and cooling down is actually
sorry to interrupt. One question. I'm sure even the ride you guys did was a few hours, right?
Right.
I'm assuming the bottle there is a 1 liter bottle.
The bottle we have is about 750 ml. Okay,
so you recharge it, is it, at stops?
I consumed one on the way and then another one on the way back, and in between we had breakfast, we had some fluids, water and all that.
So you refill in the way.
Mine is a 1 liter bottle, Pramod, and I have 3 bottle holders on the same frame. I usually carry 2. On longer rides, more than even 60, 70 is not calling for salt, which we will cover. It is here that when I do 4, 5, 6 hours, there will be a bottle with salt in it mixed, and one will be plain water.
Okay.
So you take the combination and refilling them on the way, you'll have to plan that out.
Plan. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, seat height is a very important aspect. So we have to have the right seat height. So when you step on the pedal, okay, and if you sit on the seat and try to put your foot down, it should not reach flat. It should be on the tip of your toe. So that so if you see, I mean, when you pedal, it should not be, I mean, fully. I mean, it should be almost fully stretched. Okay, so that will be the correct seat height, because if you have an optimal seat height, it will give you the best efficiency possible. If not, if you are, I mean, much lower than the optimal seat height, which is what normally beginners tend to have, that's one mistake which you can observe. So the efficiency is lost. You are not able to use the full power into the pedaling. So
Shri,
optimal.
there is a caveat to this.
Yeah.
People who are starting just yet, who are unsure of balance or who are riding in traffic for the first time, knowingly, if they want to lower the seat height, that their knees are not opening. I'm just trying to show here. We will put pictures because already the number of slides we have too much of information to cover in 45 minutes, 1 hour. Maybe next session I will cover the knee position, the body height, the inseam length, and all that. All that masala is with me, but it will go on for 2 hours. So we will do one more session. But quickly, suppose if you look at Shamaya ji, he still has his seat lower than optimal. Now, there are two kinds of people who will do it. One is you are just beginning, you are unsure. That is why I've written safety first. You compromise efficiency knowingly. But in the long run, you should not ride with your knee like this. You can see my finger, right? The leg has to stretch 165 to 170 degrees in the full position of the pedal. When the pedal is at the lowest, the crank is at the bottom, the pedal is at the bottom, your leg, the thighs and the calf muscle, they make an angle, right? That should be 165 to 170 degrees. 180 degrees, you will lock the knee. That is not needed. You don't have to straighten it. You can stretch it, straighten it in a slope, but ideal is 170, 175 also you can take it. In order to do that, you have to measure your seat height, sit on the bike. For an efficient ride, what she is saying, you should tiptoe to the floor, and when this is the pedal, at the bottommost level, and your shoes is like this, you are at 165 to 170 at least.
And what is the back position?
Back position can be straight. You can bend, lean forward. If a flat handbar, you are anyway either at, obviously you will not do like what you do in a bike. You will lean forward. That I'll share the body postures in another session or maybe in the WhatsApp.
Okay.
So seat height, you can lower it down for a few weeks, a few days, till the time you become confident or your road conditions are not safe. But be mindful of the fact that if you are not opening up your knees to 165, 170, you're losing a lot of efficiency. That is the maximum power being applied on the pedal. Whatever thigh power muscle that you are applying, the more the leg opens up, the more power goes to the pedal. So many people will be riding with the knees bent like this. Seat is too low. It's not at all. The legs are not stretching. That's very bad. So we are saying safety first for some time, that you're not sure. You just started. You don't know whether I'll be able to balance with the tiptoe. Traffic, somebody comes suddenly. You don't have balance. You've not been riding for 20, 30 years. So for about couple of weeks or a month, you can lower it. But soon you will have to lift it up for the efficient, which we will probably do another session.
Okay, so hard soles we have already spoken about. Then the braking technique. Okay, so braking in cycle, it is always good to use both the front and the rear, both together. So that will help you to brake faster. If you use only the rear, then it might take you a little more distance to stop. And only the front is really dangerous. That I mean, any two-wheeler rider will actually know, because it can topple you. So you might even fall headlong downwards. So only front is a big no. Always use both front and rear together.
In that order. Rear gets applied
rear
fraction of a second earlier than the front. In sometimes few seconds. I mean, if you know the distance of braking that you need. And disc brakes will help you here. Rear and front, very, very good braking distance. I mean, very short.
Any knowledge on why this is different compared to the super bikes where we are told to do only front brakes?
Super bikes is a totally different. The weight of the bike plays a huge role. The CG of the bike plays a huge role.
Huge role.
Your controls, the mechanism, the electronics, all of them are controlled. In many super bikes, I don't know. I don't own the one which has got this. That even if you apply any brake, both the brakes are applied automatically by default as a safety. But for cycles, rear and front, disc brakes, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have covered the other two. We can go at 825.
Water is fine, done. Okay. Yeah. So this, here we have
can
this.
Skip this. I'll just quickly take and try to wrap up. This is only for those who are cycling enthusiasts. For some reason, they are not able to take the cycle and go out. It could be age factor. It could be balance issues. It could be unsafe conditions. It could be real hilly terrain that they are living. So many people who are fond of cycling still do this. And those regular cyclists use this when it is raining outside, don't want to go out. You just want to recover, or it's unsafe conditions outside, and you have lack of balance for whatever reason, or you have an injury and then you don't want to go into a real world outside balancing your hand. You have a shoulder injury. Because cycling, as you know, it's predominantly lower half of the body that is utilized. So you can do this cycling. So we can skip this and go ahead.
Yeah, ride pre-check checklist. Diet. Okay, so diet and
exactly as per the FFD list, checklist. Copied completely.
So we will share this. Probably you can have a look because there's a lot of content.
Yeah, so we don't want to waste time on. When I say waste, you don't have to read this. We'll send you this presentation in the.
We'll send this. Yeah. Then typical training plan. Okay, so yeah, stretching warm up before every ride. It's mandatory. Strength training. Okay, 2 to 3 days a week. And then weekday ride, okay, 5, 10, 15 kilometers gradually you can increase. Weekend ride, maybe 10, 20, 30 gradually increase. Monthly group ride, maybe it can be a little bigger, 30, 40 or 50. And long customized ride, okay, so that we can do maybe a Mysore ride or maybe whatever ride we can plan.
Karwar, whatever. I mean, not everyone has to aspire to be in 100 plus. It's no great goal. In a group, many people who never thought 30, 40, they end up doing 100. So in a group ride on an airport road, I'm sure this group will do 100 plus and many people will surprise themselves. But you should know the brakes, you should be in a group, you should be with people who have done 100. So you know the hydration techniques, you know what not to do when you take a break, an awkward position, and so on and so forth. You know, these are all things over a session we can't explain. But that is why everywhere there is a band. Be comfortable in your range, and it's not a race. You will, in the group, graduate to the next level automatically, without a doubt. And be happy with that, and then aspire to be better than what you were yesterday. And cycling alone cannot be a complete fitness activity. Somebody in the group was asking that only cycling, will cycling help us reversal? So I had given a long reply. Physical fitness activity alone will also not give you reversal. It's multiple things that you're doing. Similarly, strength training, gym, yoga, weights, other athletic activities, swimming, there could be multiple combinations, and it's not a bar, but as I said, very moderate weekly rides or weekend rides. Most part of the year I'm a weekend rider. During the week, I play TT, I do a bit of swimming, I do regular walking, I do yoga. So weekday cycling is also not bad. If you can do 5-10 kilometers alternate days, it is great. Okay.
Okay, strength training. Okay, what all strength training? I think you can go through this one. We have quite a few things here. It is from FFD protocol, so you can look at it later. Then comes the stretching warm-up. Okay, so hand rotation, arm rotation, calf raises, lunges, and all that. High knees. Okay, so all these things are actually common between running and cycling. Okay.
So first ride when we do together, we'll all do this together. Sorry, and it's no hard and fast rule that you have to move the hands like this only. It is just to increase the flexibility. Of course, some core muscles that are required for cycling, like you say, touching the toes, lunges, and this character like stretching before sideways movement, shoulder movement, so that the shoulders are flexible, high knees. All these are, I mean, you can add a few more to this to your convenience. There's no hard and fast rule. Yeah.
Okay, cool down. So once you finish riding, it is always good to do a few exercises, like for example, hamstring stretches, the knee stretches, and then bend down and do it. So the main difference between start and end. Okay, so the first is, warm up exercises are more dynamic, and the cool down exercises are more static, more slow and static. Hold it for 10 seconds. Whereas the warm up, which is before the ride, will be more dynamic. Like you'll be moving fast.
Repetitive. You do repetitive stuff.
Repetitive.
In fact, stretching exercise and cool down exercises can be similar also, as long as this objective of what Sri is saying is met. You do repetitive stuff to warm up your body and flex it and loosen it, and then cooling down, it's more of holding the pose for cool it down.
Okay, now comes the business end, the budget.
This is only an indicative. World has changed too much even after we made this, but this is just an indicator. I'll take this quickly. An economy hybrid bike in Decathlon, B-twin, specific, would cost you 15,000-16,000 rupees, along with some of these accessories, which we have said helmet is needed, padded shorts is needed, gloves are needed, bottle holder is needed, a bag, typically either a backpack, headlight and tail lamps, and total of 16-17K. It's a crowded market out there. Multiple brands have covered. Some major brands also going forward. You go to a medium budget, you take a hybrid bike with V-brake, a suspension, and good gearing systems. The Shimano gearing system used here or there. Told you a simple lock, wheel removal, the saddle post lock. So many of these features will be with the medium budget, and then of course, a high end, there is no limit. You can spend as much as money you have. If you don't know how to spend, come to us. We will spend it for you. Yeah.
Brands.
Okay. Some popular brands, the three we use, you will hear Firefox name, Between's name, Montra. There are many other international brands who have some assemblies here, some manufacturing here. Schnell is good, Cannondale is good, Trek. I use Giant, by the way. Merida is another Asian brand which is doing pretty well. Specialized is expensive but good one. Bianchi, BMC. I mean, there are another 1,000 brands available, and India is a really, really growing hot market for all these global players and Indian players. There are Indian brands as well who are slowly catching up on engineering and the fineness that is needed for cycling. They're not that bad either. There are some 3-4 reasonably good brands. So nothing against made in India. Please choose. Check with us once before choosing. So if there is any tried and tested or a feedback or somebody in our circle has used it, we can give you that feedback. Serviceability, where spare parts are available, how much does it cost, how many machines are there on the road, anybody in the group has used it, longevity. These are some of the factors you need to consider. What else, Sri?
I think that's about it. Let's all ride.
Oh, yeah. We stop here. We end the call when the questions are over or somebody says, enough, guys, good night.
Okay.
Rao, sir, good evening. Sorry, we couldn't talk to you. The session has already started. You mute allidira. You have to unmute. Rao, sir, you are on mute. Yes, sir.
Sorry, because I had totally forgotten about this one. I went for cycling. Okay. I
Okay.
did about 18 kilometers, and by the time I came, it was almost 7:15.
Okay.
Somebody was there at home, and I had to.
No. You've done the next best thing to listening to cycling. Yes. Hi, Manoj. Good evening. Any questions on what we have shared? Any purchase decisions? Quickly, offhand, we can clarify some doubts. And then maybe tomorrow, sometimes if somebody wants to reach out to me or Sri one-on-one, Even Vinay is a good hand in this. He has got good experience. He's used most of the accessories pretty well. So you can reach out to one of us. But you can ask some basic questions here. It will benefit others.
Do these guys all deliver home once you buy the bike? I mean, assuming I go to Decathlon on Airport Road, and then if I buy the bike, I'm assuming they will deliver and I don't have to cycle it all the way back.
No.
No, the fun is in cycling back, right?
I know, but doing a 20-kilometer, 25-kilometer ride on the first ride,
Take
I'm
your
not
car
sure.
and get it. Buy a one with a easy to remove front wheel.
But it'll fit in the car
Yeah, yeah.
without the stand. It will fit.
Which car you have?
The Polo, Volkswagen Polo.
Polo is the first seat fold.
Ooh, it does. Maybe I'm not sure. Yeah, it does
I
fold.
think it does. It
It
does
does fold.
fold. So even if
folds,
it
you
doesn't
can manage.
fold, there is a chance of you put, but you have to remove the front wheel for sure. So that the
Yeah, okay.
handlebar has to be made from horizontal vertical. Aligning the, then you can insert it. Width is not a problem as long as you remove the front wheel.
Okay.
If you take a model without the front wheel, only chance is that you ask them to deliver. I think there are delivery charges. There are a lot of online platforms, ChooseMyBicycle.com, Merida Online, Canada. They all deliver home in a semi-assembled pack with a video of, you only have to assemble and do that. You have to be, or take it to a nearest, the cycle Pasha Bhai near house.
Pasha Bhai.
Give him 500 rupees and get it assembled. You can give it to me. I'll assemble it for 50,000 bucks. Nothing more.
Done. I'm sure for 50,000, a lot of them will deliver it all built up to my house.
Yeah. Now you know you're a smart man.
What
No,
about the
I
rear view
will
mirror?
assemble it for you just for mugs of beer, man. Don't
Done.
tell any FFDNs that I drink beer. That's all.
What about rear view mirror? I mean, in the traffic
Good
nowadays,
point.
none of you.
Good point. Optional accessories, for me, it is a must.
Okay.
I don't impose my views on everyone because people will say, "Ye to sala sara accessories bech raha hai bete." But yeah, it is good to have a rear view mirror. I always watch out what is coming behind me, and it's a good safety. Again, 200, 300 rupees,
Correct.
not
Okay.
much. Yeah.
And-
Anything else, Rakesh sir? You are asking something in the.
No, not nothing. Thank you.
Okay, super.
So, okay, if I ping you guys one-on-one once I go to the shop and kind of start narrowing down the list, or do you guys?
Yeah.
Before going to the shop, narrow it down.
Okay.
Just bounce it off to us. If there is any flag, we will raise it. And then within that kind of whatever we know of, you should be able to comfortably. Of course, you can call us from the shop, provided I'm
No,
free
I'm not
at
going to
that
buy.
time.
I'm just saying just to narrow it down to get a feel for it.
Please, don't
Yeah.
bother.
Yes, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm not
And,
sure online whether we'll get a good idea. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. We might. But
And secondly, also share your experience in the group, even if you're trying out few things, so that the collective learning is important for us. Not everyone will have the luxury of going out checking so many things. Probably Pramod will do. So somebody will get benefited by that as well.
done.
So anyone else?
Okay, let me
Vinay,
stop.
ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಯಾವಾಗ ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು? ನಾಳೆ ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? Vinay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. ನಾಳೆ